But unfortunately, it looks as if there are loads of opposition to the little progress that we have made.
I thought it was applauded when this bill was signed.
Well,
into law.
You know, in Yoruba language, there's something they say, "Majulo monwenye," be dancing, I'm looking at your back. Some people are busy trying to ensure that even the little gains we have made in 2 years of implementing the law, the 2023 law, is reversed.
Who are these people?
Well, I remember on what platform we asked who are the people that sponsored this amendment bill. Minister said he doesn't know. All the chairmen of the various discos said they don't know. All the leaders of the various national institutions that are beneficiaries of the amendments, all of them say they don't know. They are not the ones. So a set of ghosts. I'm sorry to say, sponsored amendment that is about to reverse the gains that we have made. Either we like it or not, revenue has doubled between 2023 and today on account of the Band A that was created. Most states are saying, forget about Band A. Let's approach improvement tactically. We'll make those outstanding liabilities part of the liabilities that will pass on to the states.
This is confusing. So in one instance, the federal wants to take over the powers of the state, but would now divulge or move the liabilities of the federal to the state.
Because tactically it will be moved to the customers. The way pricing is done, it will be moved tactically to the customers.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Coffee Table with Ogunleye, where we break down complex economic, business, and finance issues bordering on the Nigerian economy. We speak to very important people who are at the heart of making Nigerian economy move in the direction that we all want it to be. We basically, on this show, speak with them and ask them questions related to key economic issues, particularly sectors that are important to all of us and sectors that they have expertise in. And I am super, super pleased to have in our midst the Honorable Commissioner for Energy and Mineral Resources of the richest states in Nigeria, Lagos State.
Richest states.
Mr. Biodun Ogunleye. Oga.
Thank you, bro. It's good to be here.
Good to see you.
I'm
Good
so excited
to
be here and be part of how you are breaking it down for the nation so that people can understand very complex concepts in very straightforward and an easy way. And we hope to contribute a little today.
Thank you very much. And it's such a great pleasure having you here because we're going to be discussing energy. I know your ministry covers energy and mineral resources, but I think we're going to focus on energy today. And I know it's because I know you for quite a while now, for some years. In fact, over almost 20 years already. And I know this is one area, as much as you're a commissioner of energy, you've been passionate about power way, way, way longer than a lot of people.
Long time ago. Long time ago.
I see about those trenches days when they were doing RCM and all that, you were into it. Wow. A lot of people probably don't know that. And but how do you see the power sector, how far have we come from those days when privatization actually started? I think it was during Obasanjo.
2005.
2005. Yes, it's like 20 years now.
Yeah, 20 years now. Saw the beginning of the attempt by federal government to unbundle the vertically integrated NEPA, PSCN, and turn them into companies that private sector can take over, run, and then inject capital, airports to ensure that most of the challenges that we see out there are resolved, and we have a new culture of power being available across the nation. Is 20 years. I would say to you that the journey has not been as expected, if I want to be honest. A lot of us that were there then can say that what we envision is nowhere near where we are today. So you want to ask me what are the things we are not seeing?
Yeah, what were you expecting? Because I recall it was just 3 years after GSM came on board.
Yes.
Then. So see how far
how
we've
far
come with
GSM people have
telco
gone,
and how far we are with power. So what have been the things that you think hasn't really worked out?
Now, the first thing is this: we have not been able to say farewell to that culture of blackout. The penetration of GSM, you know what the numbers look like today. The penetration of electricity, you know what it looks like today. I will confess to you, industries are moving out of Nigeria on account of our inability to provide economically viable electricity for them to do their business. So they find a couple of countries near us more viable for them to go. Even when those countries are even importing electricity from us, it's sad.
I like the way you say so economically viable.
Yes.
Because I always tell people there's 24/7 power. It just depends on what you're paying for. So what do you mean by economically viable?
Okay. Economically viable means by the time you apply it, you should be able to sell your goods or your services to the audience that will be willing to pay for it.
When you say apply, that's power. The cost of power.
The cost of power. Well, the cost of power that you use in your production should be able to enable you to make profit after you have you have finished with your production. What you have is a scenario where people need to use diesel. And by the time they use diesel, they mix that with the cost of 2-3 hours of supply from the grid. It's horrendous. It doesn't make sense. And for most household, estimated billing and all manner of and I need to be careful with words now. All manner of
shenanigans,
doubtful payment required on account of your transformer is owing, your street is owing, one neighbor is owing. Those kind of wonderful whatever are not in the best interest of the customers. And if you actually check, maybe a lot of us, it's time for us to go off grid because the solar technologies, the renewable technologies are becoming more and more stable now. And if you check the numbers against your 300, so a lot of estates in this Lekki Axis are billing people at an average of 350. And
per kilowatt hour.
Per kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
And if you check that against, in some places you pay as much as, your bill can be as much as 500,000 naira per month. Yeah, the power is available, but it's very expensive. How many households can actually sustainably afford that? So if you check, maybe it's better for you to have your own standalone renewable system that meets your basic need, and you are able to say, I have my supply. I don't need to be impoverished by this lack of grid supply. Yes,
or grid power supply. Anyway, so one of the things that we've that has happened recent years now. So we're now fast forwarding to more recent times. Of course, we've seen the privatization of 2014, and see where we are 10 years down the line. A lot of what we had expected. I was also a major stakeholder in this for years, and a lot of things that we expected we haven't seen, both from even the investors' perspective, the consumers, government, everybody. Things just didn't really work out. And then last 2 years ago, the president signed the Electricity Act 2023, and everyone thought, or at least at the time believed this was a game changer. And a lot of people still believe it's a game changer. But it's 2 years since then. How has this changed how Lagos State views electricity today?
Okay. Now, 2 years
Of course,
ago,
in terms of control.
no, it's more than 2 years now. A few years ago, late President Buhari signed a couple of clauses that allow states to be in charge of a few more activities in our constitution, and one of them is electricity. And then we had the electricity bill that sort of replaced the 25 Act, and that 2023 bill provided legal clarity, provided a proper framework, defined roles for people, and liberalized the market so that new entrants can come in. It also focused on clean power, decarbonization, and those kind of issues. It also says, okay, if you want to invest, these are the routes, and these are the rules that will guide your investment, and also give us the opportunity for us to segment the wholesale or national market from the state market. Now, based on that, states were given regulatory oversight over electricity in their geographic boundaries, according to the law. Now, each state, therefore, now have the opportunity to take charge of the destiny of their people, the development agenda within their state.
Okay.
And I believe part of the things we were supposed to see is that with all that, the next thing that should happen is that the regulatory oversight in the state should dovetail into states being able to attract direct investment. Because the states can now say, okay, you have invested in this segment of my network, this you are able to get your reward like this. But unfortunately, it looks as if there are loads of opposition to the little progress that we have made.
I thought it was applauded when this bill was signed into law.
You know, in Yoruba language, there's something they say, "Majulo monwenye," be dancing, I'm looking at your back. Some people are busy trying to ensure that even the little gains we have made in 2 years of implementing the law, the 2023 law, is reversed.
Who are these people?
Well, I remember on what platform we asked who are the people that sponsored this amendment bill. Minister said he doesn't know. All the chairmen of the various discos said they don't know. All the leaders of the various national institutions that are beneficiaries of the amendment, all of them said they don't know. They are not the ones. So a set of ghosts, I'm sorry to say, sponsored amendment that is about to reverse the gains that we have made. Either we like it or not, revenue has doubled between 2023 and today on account of the Band A that was created. Most states are saying, forget about Band A. Let's approach improvement stage by stage. If I've improved a particular area, hey guys, this is your new tariff. Let's deal with it like that. Now, over and above that, most of our states have formed their own regulatory authority. Let these functions go to life. Let's see how it will go. And then, if you also check, generation capacity that we have declared that is in use has also started going up. Enugu assigned 1,000 additional capacity in coal fired plants. Lagos is pursuing an ambitious 6,000 megawatt of additional capacity to be made available on our grid. All these were not there before. These states were not, and power, it takes a while for things to get sorted out. If and only if the stakeholders can come together and take the development of Nigeria as being more important, and also look at the future of our children and say, hey, we should not pass on this culture of darkness to our children. We all should come together and look at how best to attract investment while protecting investment that is on ground. Nobody is saying...
Okay, so what is this? What are these amendments that you're looking for? Is it possible to maybe break it down for us?
Yeah, I'll break down the amendments that they are looking for.
Okay.
The first one, and the one that is most unrighteous, permits me to use that word, is most unrighteous, is to say we want to reverse the autonomy granted the states for them to have their own regulatory oversight over their geographic territory.
I thought this was already a constitutional issue. Unfortunately, sorted out in the Constitution.
Unfortunately, a single document from the House is seeking to reverse that. That is what you have in that's one of the clauses. I don't want to use the word obnoxious. One of the clauses we can't understand in the...
Unrighteous, as you said it.
Well, okay. I mean... One of the clauses we really can't understand, and what is the use for it. Now, Section 2 also seeks to subordinate state laws to federal law, which was the reverse in the 2023 Act. Now,
what does that mean?
It simply means that the states don't have authority again. States cannot say, this is how I want to get it done. Whereas the previous law allowed each state to use their local methods, procedures, available feedstock, investment and all that to solve local problems. So this new law is saying, no, you can't do it because once federal has a position on those issues, you can't take any. And anybody who knows about development knows that it's better for electricity to come in aggregations. It should come from the grassroots. And where there are shortfalls, let the federal, the wholesale market deal with that, help us to fine-tune that one. We need to start saying, we have said farewell to a culture that will say to us, the whole nation does not have light because of a national grid collapse. And the only way we can do that is for us to have embedded assets that takes care of the need of areas within within each geographic area. Now, let me also tell you one other thing that is also a concern to us. Now, we've had an accumulation of subsidy-related, unpaid subsidy-related, whatever, about 5 billion. There's a clause in part 15 or something that statically will make those outstanding liabilities part of the liabilities that will pass on to the states.
This is confusing. So in one instance, the federal wants to take over the powers of the state, but would now divulge or move the liabilities of the federal to the state.
Because statically it will be moved to the customers. The way pricing is done, it will be moved statically to the customers. And the customers now are supposed to be, the states now are supposed to be the one in direct charge of the state. So link it up together, the states will have challenge with recovery and starting out their markets, except for states that really have strength and have the technical know-how to deal with the matters arising on those issues. Then you also have the scenario where NEMSA and a few federal agencies are now being brought back to enforce technical issues down the stream. Let's talk about practicality. In the streets of Ajangbadi, in the corners of Oshodi, how will somebody that come from Abuja come and certify the not only lines, not only the junction buses, the transformers, the outgoing lines of various installations that our distribution companies have put in place.
Sorry to interject, but I mean, I remember speaking to one of the commissioners at the national level who had buzzed me following one article that was published on Aerometrics, and he vehemently denied that what they were trying to do was usurping the state's power to regulate. Says that is not what is on the amendment bill. He also did touch on this issue of NEMSA and says, look, in the United States, for example, or even in Europe, everybody uses the same sockets, and the standard when it comes to every single thing that is used around the country. That is basically what they are trying to do. Is it any different from your own understanding?
Very different. National standard is different from technical enforcement.
Okay.
So, do national standard. Okay? But get our concurrence on it. At least notify us that this is the new national standard.
Okay.
Now, but in terms of ensuring that that national standard is what is obtainable, hey, allow the state institutions to deal with it. That's what we are saying on that one.
Okay.
And there's no need for us to start. I don't want to talk about the new provisions about labor and all that. That is a time bomb. Yes, there's a section that's now, these businesses are now being owned by private people.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we want to say they can have unions? Okay, we want to remove the history. They have always had unions, and governments still have a lot of a good percentage of stake in there. Okay, if we say they can't have unions, okay, so how do we clear the historic challenges that the unions are still saying now on the table? That's not my business. Let me just face my own business. Now, Section 63(7) revoke the state's powers to license IEDNs and IETNs